but I shall proceed and work it out as we go. I rise to speak to my amendment that Clause 230 not stand part of this bill. Now, as I say in the explanatory statement, this is a probing amendment which raises issues that many people have raised with me about the purpose of Clause 230, which covers the licensing for nuclear sites which are on or under the territorial sea of the UK. Now, I think it's interesting, the noble lady Baroness Mackintosh of Pickering, in talking about offshore wind farms, referred to the impact on marine mammals, particularly of seismic testing. And of course, what we saw last year, in the middle of last year, was seismic surveys being carried out in the Irish Sea off Cumbria for assessing the potential of undersea nuclear storage. And indeed, at that time, the Marine Management Organisation, in a letter, noted that these tests could cause disturbance to certain cetacean species. And it's interesting, of course, that those tests appeared to be being carried out before this bill had become law, which is interesting circumstances in which they're being carried out, which I'll actually come back to. Now, in the government's own words, it needs to keep safe and secure for hundreds of thousands of years it will take for the radioactivity to naturally decay, close quotes. That's why it's seeking long-term storage for hundreds and thousands of years. Now, the UK has the world's largest stockpile of untreated nuclear waste, more than 100 tonnes of plutonium, and the total volume is 750,000 cubic metres. We are talking, my lords, about a lot of nuclear waste. Now, I think it's interesting, and I want to go to the words here of the chair of the Nuclear Free Local Authorities, David Blackburn, which, for full disclosure, I'll note is also the leader of the Green Party group on the Leeds City Council, who, and I'm quoting here, said, "The waste would be left in situ for millennia, and no matter how effective the barriers, some of the radioactivity will eventually reach the surface. The rate at which radioactivity would leak can be poorly predicted and is likely to remain so for an indefinite period." Finishing the quotes. So I think we're all very aware, and I was in Cumbria a decade ago when there was talk of onshore storage of nuclear waste in Cumbria and a great deal of local resistance, that there is no certainty, and putting it under the sea would seem to add to the uncertainty, add to the risks, and obviously add to the difficulties of dealing with anything should it go wrong. So I think that's why I put this down as a probing amendment, because I think there is a great deal of uncertainty. People are unsure what the government's intentions are, and that's why I hope the noble Lord, the Minister, may be able to provide more certainty. But I also refer to the fact that seismic testing was going on underway, because it's interesting that the explanatory note for this bill appears to suggest that this Clause 230 is actually to close a possible loophole that nuclear sites under the sea might not currently require a licence or be subject to the nuclear regulator. It's page 71 of the explanation notes that this amends Section 1 and 26 of the NIA 1965 and Section 68 of the Energy Act of 2013 to make it expressly clear that certain nuclear sites located wholly or partly under the sea require a licence and to be regulated by the ONR. So it raises the question, which I will explicitly put to the noble Lord the Minister, if the government is aware of any, or is aware of or concerned about any unlicensed or unregulated nuclear sites on or partly on or underneath the sea in UK territorial waters. I beg to move.
The question is that Clause 230 stand part of the bill.